Alright, so we're going to look at the rest of the adjustments pane in Pixlr Express. So let's just open a new photo here, and for the record, I never edit wedding photos using Pixlr, but this photo I thought would work good as an example for what you can do. We just looked at crop and rotate, so now let's look at the rest of these. Autofix I really don't like, it doesn't do a very good job, but feel free to try it out. Color is an important one. Hue you won't have to touch, but that's the reds and the greens. The main one in here we want to look at is saturation. And saturation, as you see, makes it black and white or really colorful. And this is going to be basically how much color is in the photo. If we move it up a little bit, you'll see we can get a little bit more vivid. You never want it to look too fake. And if we get it up too high, you'll notice that her lips become kind of too red, almost like they're glowing. So if you want more color, you can move it up just a little bit. If, however, you want black and white, you can move it down all the way. Or what's really kind of trendy right now is having something that's vintagey, and you'll see that if we add a little bit of color, but partially black and white, by pulling the slider to the left, you can get something kind of cool looking. I'm going to take this photo and take a little bit of color out of it just for kicks, and let's apply that. Vibrance we will skip. Contrast is one that we will look at though, and contrast slider right here, you'll notice, let's just take a look at what it does. Okay, so that's basically your difference between your blacks and your whites. If we go up really high, you'll notice there is just all the blacks become pretty much all black. You lose all the shades. You don't see the stripes in his suit anymore. Let's look. There you go. There's the stripes, and now they're gone. And same thing in her dress. We lose the detail in the dress too if we go up too high. And if we go down lower, you'll notice that things become flatter. The details stay there, but the blacks are not as black. The whites are not as white. If you want to adjust that, you can. If you want it to look a little bit more muted or a little bit more what is called richer or more saturated with color, you can play around with that. Blur, sharpen, denoise are really if you have certain areas of the photo. If you wanted to blur or sharpen them, we'll skip that. Red eye is great if we had an example of red eye. Teeth whiten, her teeth are great, but if we wanted to whiten them, the slider up here, I should point out, will allow us to slide in and get a little bit closer to our photo so that we can see things just a little bit better. And up here you'll see that we can slide around the part of the photo that we're looking at. So now if we want to whiten these teeth, let's go in just a little bit tighter. There we go. And we want to make our brush just the right size. We don't want it to overlap on the lips. And a little bit smaller. Oh, sorry, that's the whitening. Here's the brush size. There we go. That looks about the right size. So now, if we just go along here, you can click one at a time, or you can hold down. It's up to you. I like clicking one at a time so that I can go in here and make it smaller as the mouth gets a little bit smaller, and try to cover all the areas that I can. And if it doesn't look like it's doing too much, I'll show you one more slider here, the whitening slider. And if we start moving that up, you may notice that all of a sudden they become even whiter. We don't want to make them look like they're really fake. So we can just move that up a bit from where it was if we wanted things a little bit whiter. Let's just finish this off here. Great. If I wanted to apply that, I would click apply, and there we go. Let's move our photo back out here, make it the right size, and let's look at touch up. Now there's not really any blemishes here, but if there was, let's make one up. So I'm going to slide my photo down here, and let's pretend that freckle is a blemish. And we have shine, spots, and shades. Those are different brushes for shine, spots or shades, and spots are like blemishes. So let's adjust our brush size accordingly, and if we click that, you'll notice it disappears. and if that was a real blemish, I would want to apply it so that it would be gone. And finally, a few other interesting things is we have an airbrush tool if you ever wanted to use that, and we can select it. Again, we can select the brush size, and we can adjust the intensity, so how strong it is. So let's go up high to about 80 so that you can see the difference, and you will see that it makes the skin look really, really soft. The only bad thing is we don't really want to do that to the guy, but the only bad thing is sometimes it looks a little bit fake. So once we're done doing it, we'll just pretend that we are done right there. I would still want to get the forehead and the bottom of the arm. You'll see that if we adjust the intensity, we go back to where we were to start off with. So if we start going up little bits at a time, depending on the computer, you might need to slide out, let go to see the difference. You'll see that if I go really high, it looks really fake, but if I go somewhere in the middle, it actually makes it look nice and soft, but not too artificial. See the difference there? So if I wanted to apply that, we can click apply, and a few other interesting things you might want to play around with is focal blur. I never use this, but you could select the area of the photo you want to be in focus by putting this in the middle. So I'm going to put it in the middle of the two of them. And this next dot here will adjust what is in focus. And this next dot will adjust how quickly things become out of focus. There you go. Down here I can adjust how blurry the blurring is. And if you wanted, you could also, instead of using a circle, you could do a rectangle, which is a bit better for landscape photos. I'm not going to save that, but that's what that would do for me. And that basically takes you through all the key adjustment pieces that are in Pixlr Express.